Today I'm going to do a little video on the CTIS manifolds on the FMTV trucks. This is a little project I got going for a friend of mine. So here's where the air enters the tire. I just wanted to show you that. So from there, this is the valve stem. The valve stem comes out to here. This piece closest to the wheel is part of the valve stem. So let's go ahead and pull this off the wheel. I'm just using 3 4x4s under this wheel, 6-ton jack. And I believe that's off the ground. First thing we need after we get it jacked up is the 7/8 for the CTIS banjo bolt right here. And this has these bonded seal washers in it, and that rubber, actually this one is tight around the thread, so I'm just going to leave that in there. I don't think there's any chance of it falling off. So you have it disconnected from the wheel. Now if you're going to take this CTIS manifold off the wheel, eventually the air is going to come out. So you can let that out right here. This is where you would blow up your tire manually, and you can just take this little valve core out of here and the air will come out of your tire. And you need a 6mm Allen wrench. Take out these 2 bolts. Then a 3/4 inch wrench. If you want to hold this one, you need 2 wrenches, 3/4 or a 19mm. This is one of each. This nut swivels on the fitting. And this doesn't have to be tight when you go to reassemble it. This is an O-ring fitting. There's an O-ring around here that seals inside of there. So now, and once you do that, the air is going to come out of your tire if you haven't already let it out. In order to get this off, you need to spin it, and it's going to hit this, so you have to take this adapter out of it. So this is has some paint on it, but that's a 7/8 wrench, and again the 3/4 here. And you can see this one isn't tight, but that's an O-ring seal in there. Does not need to be real tight. It's an O-ring right here. Then this is able to thread off the valve. Just barely makes it by there. I've seen some that might be, the valve might be bent a little bit. You're gonna have to just bend it somehow to get it away from there. And like the other connections, there's an O-ring down inside here, and the end of this valve does not have any threads on it, so the O-ring seals on there. If you need to transfer a bracket, the size of these is 15/16. Or 24mm. And there's a short stud right here underneath this. So there's a nut that holds the bracket on. Then there's a second nut down here, just like the rest of them. So you can just pull the bracket off. Okay, there's also a different style. Some of them have this style on the small side. So for that one, this right here is a swivel fitting. So if you have this style, that's a 9/16 wrench. So again, O-rings on all these connections. So it doesn't have to be super tight. That's it. Hand tight on that one, I would say. Oh, the O-ring goes in. Threads are different, so it'll only thread in one direction. So 7/8, 3/4. I wouldn't do it any more than that. Just snug it up. It is a good idea to replace the O-rings in these fittings when you have it apart to ensure a proper seal. It's going to be a little tricky to get that lined up on there. There it goes. I like to hold this one just because I have that one as tight as I want it and I don't want it to get any tighter. Whoops, that's the 7/8. Just snug that up. Put these back in. And once you get start one of them. You might have to fight with the bend in this hose a little bit. So get one of them started, and then the other one, you might just need to move it a little to get it lined up with the hole. Put your core back in. You can put an air fitting on there to blow up your tire once you have this hooked up. Back on the stud. And again, this is a bonded seal washers on there with rubber in them, so this doesn't have to be very tight. That's it. That's all it needs.